What's good, everybody? Welcome to my album review of the game's brand new album entitled The Documentary 2. See, I'm not a big fan of sequel albums. I don't really like 2s and 3s and 4s and Carter 5s and all that. That's not my thing for real. So when I heard that the game was gonna call this The Documentary 2, I was like, I don't know about that, especially because I like The Documentary 1 so much. The Documentary, at the time it was released in 2005, was considered a classic album. The game was considered to be the person to bring the West Coast back, and that album was truly an incredible work. Kanye West, Just Blaze, you know, just Busta Rhymes, just like Dr. Dre, like 50 Cent was really there, you know, for pivotal moments. Like, he had a team of people, a legion of people that really put him at the forefront of all of hip hop. So then, you know, I started asking myself, was that as much of his doing or the other people who contributed to the album's doing? Nonetheless, that's a conversation for another day. The game was propelled to the forefront of hip hop. The documentary sold over 5 million copies. He became one of the premier people in all of the music industry. Now afterwards, you know, he's released some follow-ups that just couldn't quite match that. Doctor's Advocate, the Red Album, LAX, Jesus Piece, all had good songs involved with those projects, but as projects entirely, they were forgettable for the most part. So here we are 10 years later after the documentary was released and the game has dropped The Documentary 2. And not only that, I just found this out. This is a double album. He has 2 CDs worth of music. So if you've already not guessed it, I'm going to have to do a Documentary 2.5 review in another video. But for the meantime, we will focus on the first disc, The Documentary 2, then 2.5, which makes me wonder, is he gonna have a 3? Because how do you end off with a 2.5 but not do a 3? I don't really know. So, Documentary 2. I really enjoyed this album. Like, I think the game has finally found his own comfort level with his music. Like, he's really grown and developed so much as an artist. Now, we all know the game is the most name-dropping rapper in the history of rappers. Like, he references other people so much. Like, if I hear him say NWA or Dr. Dre anymore, might throw up. Like, overall, man, his flow, his wordplay, his lyricism, the game can rap. He can really rap his ass off. Like, you cannot take that away from him. I mean, we saw that in 300 Bars like almost 10 years ago, but like even now to this day, as a grown man, as a person who's developed an industry, he has gotten so much better as a lyricist, and he really shines on this album. Not only that, the Documentary 2 has incredible features. And the features don't actually take away from the game, which they have done in past albums. They add to it, but the game still remains at the forefront and the focal point of the album. I mean, on the first disc alone, you know, which is what I'm reviewing right now, we got Dej Loaf, will.i.am, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Kanye West, Ab-Soul, Kendrick Lamar. Like, the list goes on and on and on, like, of the loaded artists that are on this album. Like, it's truly star-studded and just makes you realize, like, despite, you know, his struggling, you know, to really find his own lane over the past, you know, few years with rapping, he remains, you know, one of the people that has a rapport with so many artists. Like, he can call on damn near anybody in the industry and they can be on a game album. One of my favorite tracks, On Me with Kendrick Lamar, like, they absolutely ripped it. Like, the samples that's in it from Erykah Badu, the way that the game and Kendrick rapped on it were just, you know, incredible to listen to. That's another thing. This album feels like very much old school. There's a lot of samples on it, and it has a very throwback feel to it. Standing on Ferraris with Diddy, he samples Biggie, he samples Kick in the Door. You know, the beat is a little slowed down, it's a little bit more gnarly, and it's really like an ode to Biggie, and it just really works. It doesn't seem too gimmick. Like, even on the track Circles, you got Q-Tip on the album. I'm a big fan of Q-Tip, and the song Circles I thought was really good as well. Like, you know, talking about relationships, he has like a nice story arc that evolves like over 3 songs throughout the album. And then, you know, one of the singles that dropped earlier in the summer, we got 100 from Drake. You know, that's really still one of my favorite tracks as well. Drake does some incredible rapping and hooking, you know, a hook on that song, and the game keeps up as well. Like, it's really one of those standout tracks. New York, New York is probably the most personal moment on the album. He shares a story of a good friend of his that actually, you know, shot his wife, which led to her death. So it was a very personal moment on the album. It was sad to listen to, but you could tell that he was very much emotionally affected by that. All in all, man, the Documentary 2 is just a really solid album. I'm very happy to hear this type of music coming from the game. Like, he really worked hard. Like, you can tell that he worked hard at developing himself and making himself a better artist and a better rapper, and bringing in all this incredible talent to be on the album. Like, everybody contributes in a very, very good way. And then again, like, the production, the samples that are on it, the production it's big, it's lavish, it's lush, it's beautiful to listen to, and some really good speakers in the car. Like, it's a beautiful sounding album. And honestly, this could not have come out at a more perfect time. The West Coast is having a major resurgence. Kendrick dropped To Pimp a Butterfly, Dr. Dre dropped Compton, you know, the NWA movie came out, J-Rock's album came out. The West Coast is going hard right now, and the game is right there at the forefront. For him to produce this mass amount of music, it really is, you know, a testament to his work ethic. Apparently there were over 700 songs recorded for this project, and he picked 37 tracks to make a double disc album to make this work. If you don't call that ambitious, I don't know what else you can call ambitious, because to release a double album in this day and age is like crazy. People's attention spans just don't last that long. In the 90s, they really worked. Tupac and Biggie both did it, incredibly successful. Today, people don't do stuff like that, because even if you release all that music, 2 months later, probably even 1 month later, they're gonna be asking like, well, when's your next new album dropping? Like, people's attention spans are like that quick. So you gotta commend the game for sticking to his guns and doing something that's brave and bold and doing what he wants to do and getting his vision out. Like I said, overall, The Documentary 2 is an incredible album. I cannot wait to listen to 2.5 and compare the two. I will be doing a review of 2.5 very soon. With all of that said, I gotta give The Documentary 2 an 8.5 out of 10. Alright folks, that's all I got for my review of The Documentary 2. Make sure to check out my review of The Documentary 2.5 coming out very, very soon as I can listen to the album, because it's hella music. As always, follow me on social media, JRW the Creator, on Twitter and Instagram, and then go check out my website, jordanrwilliams.com. And as always folks, I will see y'all next time.